Hi, I'm Adam Roy from Backpacker, and we're at the Backpacker Magazine offices, and today I am going to show you how to make a pizza in the backcountry. So to make your own backcountry pizza, you're going to need a couple of things. In terms of equipment, you're going to need a pan. I have a little frying pan, but you can use any pan with a wide, flat bottom, so bust out those titanium ultralight pans. You're going to need something to cover it with. I have a little metal plate here. You're going to need a spoon and or a spatula to work the dough with. You are going to need some ingredients too. You're going to need a packet of instant pizza crust mix. I've made my own here from some flour, baking powder, instant yeast, salt, and a little bit of shortening, but the store-bought kind is absolutely fine, and this will make about 2 pizzas. You're going to need some pizza sauce. You're going to need some cheese. You'll probably need about, I would say about a 1/4 cup, maybe a little more depending on how much you like on your pizza. You're going to need a little bit of oil to grease the pan, and you're going to want some oregano or any other toppings you might like to put on top of your pizza. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our dough. So I've got this little baggie of pizza crust mix, and I've got some hot water. And you'll mix it according to directions, and I would say add just a little more. I'm adding about a 1/4 cup, a little more than a 1/4 cup, because we want to be able to handle this pizza dough more like a batter than like a real dough. So I'm going to take my spoon and I'm just going to mix it up until it's all nice and wet. And what you're going for is a kind of pancake mix consistency. Mix it until it's all nice and wet. Try not to knock your tools over like I just did. And now we are going to seal up this, not seal up this bag, we're going to leave it a little open. And so just leave a little bit open at the edge, and we're going to set it aside for 5 minutes and wait for it to rise. And while we're waiting, I'm going to crack a beer. All right, so our dough's been sitting for about 5 minutes, and now we're going to get ready to cook it. So I've got a little bit of vegetable oil here, and I'm going to generously, brush this around my pan to make sure my dough does not stick. So now that my pan is greased up, I'm going to take the batter and I'm going to spoon this into the pan and kind of spread it around. I want it in a thin layer. Don't want any pine needles in it though. And you're not going to use all of this dough. You're probably going to want to use about half for each pizza. So now we're going to spread it around, and you can kind of see it's a little tricky because the pan is really slippery from the oil, but that's good. We want that. So you can see now I've spread the dough around the pan. So I'm going to turn our stove a little bit down because we don't want it to be too hot. We really want this on kind of a simmer. So this is a sauce I made out of canned tomato sauce plus a little bit of garlic powder and a little bit of basil. And you can kind of add anything you like to it. You can also just use ready-made pizza sauce if you want. That's the easy way. I'm going to spread a layer over it. And I'm going to sprinkle on my cheese. So we're going to get a nice layer of cheese on this pizza here. And this is the time if you want to add any other toppings like shelf-stable pepperoni, rehydrated vegetables, or anything, now's the time. If it is raw, make sure you cook it in advance because this is not an oven. The toppings are not going to cook otherwise. And just to top it all off, I'm going to add a little bit of oregano. You can see we've got a really tasty looking but uncooked pizza here. So now I'm going to put it on the stove and I'm going to cover it and we're going to cook it for about 7 minutes. And as we cook it, I'm going to just move the pan around a little bit to make sure no hot spots burn our pizza. All right, our pizza is cooked. Let's take a look. Take that lid off. And we've got one nice personal size pizza right there.